Hello, and welcome to this webinar on NINDS support of neural exposome research. Thank you for coming and for your interest. We're really glad that you've joined us. I'm Neil Druve, a program director in the Office of Neural Exposome and Toxicology here at NINDS. We'll be starting shortly. Meanwhile, I'd like to go over a bit of housekeeping. We are recording this webinar, and it'll soon be available for viewing on our website. We'll email all of you when it's ready. We'll also be sending around the slides with all the links embedded. So you'll have access to both, and you can share these materials with your colleagues. You're also welcome to ask questions. Please use the Q&A box. Enter your questions throughout the webinar. Some we may be able to answer directly, and others we'll hold for the overall Q&A at the end. We would like these questions to be general about the program or seeking clarifications. If you have specific questions that relate to your research projects, please send an email and we can make a one-on-one appointment to discuss. Okay. With that, I'd like to turn the webinar over to Dr. Chardell Spriggs, Acting Director of the Office of Neural Exposome and Toxicology. Dr. Spriggs.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you all for joining our informational webinar. Today, we have a high-level presentation with the overall goals to broadly share information about who we are, the type of research we are interested in funding, how to find those funding opportunities, and lastly, share some resources and tips that hopefully will help you be more successful than if you had not watched this webinar. Our office is organized in 3 branches. Within our institute, we lead efforts in neural exposome research aimed at developing medical countermeasures against chemical threats and matters related to chemical safety. I want to thank my team. They're on the screen. If you've worked with us in the past or reach out to us in the future, you'll get to know all of us and find out how passionate we are about our work. Today, our webinar will focus on the neural exposome research branch. So although we have learned a lot from the Human Genome Project, it did not give us all the answers for disease cause. Roughly 10 to 15% of disease occurs from genetic causes alone. And perhaps more importantly is the exposome. That is the integrated compilation of everything. So all the physical, chemical, biological, and psychosocial factors you experience across your entire life is what's important. And the interaction of the heritable and non-heritable factors that are the drivers of health, resilience, or disease. If you look at the figure on the right, it's an incomplete snapshot, but it does represent the exposome. You can see some of the health and disease areas and biological responses that are involved. It's an interesting and complex puzzle that cuts across nearly all NIH mission space. So we anticipate teams with multidisciplinary expertise will be more successful in solving exposomic research questions. Although the exposome is an everyone problem, we are NINDS, and thusly our focus is on seeking fundamental knowledge about the brain and nervous system, and then using that knowledge to reduce the burden of neurological disease for all people. Therefore, we focus on the neural exposome. So that's all of these factors experienced across the life course as they relate to neurological health and disease. A focus on the neural exposome is a paper published by our office when it was established in 2022. It concisely lays out the Institute's enthusiasm and support for this pivot and how we plan to approach neurological research. Importantly, most exposome factors are modifiable, and we know it's much easier to change your environment than your genetics. Therefore, Neural exposome research is aligned with many high priority interest areas and strategic plans across HHS and NIH. Here, we can focus on identifying and controlling environmental exposures as preventive measures, which can increase the health span of the population, lowering the incidence of chronic and long lasting diseases for many people. Our office hosted a workshop on advancing exposome research in neurological disorders and stroke in January. Over 1.5 days, we had roughly 20 presentations and session report outs. The sessions focused on important current themes in the field, including exposures at vulnerable life stages, critical windows of development that impact neurological health, and the additive effect these can have on your health over a lifetime. We covered model systems and technological advancements that are being developed to tackle some of the most complicated problems in exposomics, as well as current evidence for therapeutic approaches that impact resilience. The recordings are available on NIH Videocast as a resource to the community. Now, our office worked very hard to put this workshop on. Some people have called it the best workshop of 2026. But listen to the recordings and we'll let you be the judge. NIH is streamlining the landscape for funding opportunities and the application process. The current emphasis is on investigator-initiated science through parent mechanisms. You may have noticed fewer funding opportunities being published. Please don't let that stop you from submitting your applications. NIH has rolled out a new centralized resource called Highlighted Topics. Each topic represents a selected research priority area within one or more NIH institutes, centers, or offices. This allows us to communicate to the public that we are deeply interested in specific research areas. You can navigate to this webpage by clicking the link under the microscope or scan the QR code to see a list of currently published topics. Once you get there, you will see that we do have an HT, so let's talk about that. Our HT on neural exposome factors that affect brain health and neurological disorders was published in December. Many institutes and offices with shared interest have signed on, and we've also had some good engagement with the research community. The areas of interest listed, while not exhaustive, are derived from recommendations we received from recent strategic planning efforts in ONETOX. NINDS is interested in mechanistic studies that use exposomic approaches to identify important endogenous, exogenous, and behavioral exposome factors that alter brain health and disease, including a better understanding of resilience and whole body interactions. We want to understand not only the individual factors, but the associations between multiple exposome factors and potential synergisms and their impact on neurological disease across the lifespan. Studies that leverage existing resources and tools, including biological and data repositories and human cohort studies, and the expansion of longitudinal cohorts to incorporate exposome data that contribute to neurological health outcomes is welcome. We are interested in studies that validate this composite neurological impact of multiple exposome factors and work to reveal the underlying mechanisms of the gene-environment interactions that promote neuropathology. Development of novel human-relevant model systems, such as in vivo models, in vitro models, organoids, and/or computational models for neural exposome research are welcome, as well as the development and validation of biomarkers of effects of exposome factors on the nervous system. Now, investigators cannot apply directly to a highlighted topic. You would still need to submit your application through an NIH parent or other broad funding opportunity. There are many types of NIH grants, such as training and career development programs and research project grants, and multiple mechanisms within each type of grant. In the next slides, we'll take a high-level look at a few examples and then tell you where to find opportunities from NINDS. NINDS is committed to support research training and career development programs to ensure a vibrant, talented, and diverse workforce. There are a number of individual fellowships and career development awards across most career stages, as well as institutional programs that welcome neural exposome research. Please reach out to the Office of Training and Workforce Development directly if you have any questions. Dr. Wigan is director of that office, and her information is at the bottom of the slide. Also, take a look at their webpage. You can scan the QR code to get there. They have some useful tools, including one that will help you determine which mechanism is right for you. And of course, we'll also be happy to join the call to discuss your proposed research. The R01 is the original and historically the oldest grant mechanism used by the NIH to support health-related research. This mechanism is meant to support a discrete, well-defined project in areas representing the specific interests and competencies of the investigator. Applications should be supported by substantial preliminary data and based on a rigorous scientific premise. While budgets are not limited, they must reflect the actual needs of the project. Project period itself is determined by the proposed scope, but may not exceed 5 years. The recent NIH administrative burden reduction effort has eliminated letters of intent and the requirement for applicants to request prior approval when submitting applications requesting $500,000 or more. So please take a look at your budget and make sure it is well justified. If you do not have substantial preliminary data or have a shorter term project in mind, you should consider an R21. The R21 mechanism supports exploratory and developmental research projects by providing funding for the early and conceptual stages of projects that may involve considerable risk, but could have a major impact on the field. R21s have a very broad scope and can be used to support the development of novel techniques, agents, methodologies, or models. These can be used to assess feasibility or repurpose an existing methodology in a novel way to explore a new scientific area. The combined 2-year budget may not exceed $275,000 in direct costs, with no single year exceeding $200,000. And all projects are limited to 2 years. The R1 Collaborative Opportunities for Multidisciplinary, Bold, and Innovative Neuroscience or Combined program has a forecasted funding opportunity. Forecasted means it has not been published yet. This program requires 3 to 6 MPIs with complementary expertise to focus on a single transformative goal. The RM1 is meant to develop new synergies across different scientific fields, overcome long-standing roadblocks to progress, challenge orthodoxies, and achieve paradigm shifts, and deliver new foundational principles in neuroscience. While it's not on the street yet, it sounds like exposomic science to us, and so we had to include it. Please don't hesitate to contact Drs. Karen DeVete or Nina Shu for more information on the combined opportunity. Our office, in collaboration with the Office of Global Health and Health Disparities and the ADRD program, recently published a forecast working to investigate exposomic contributions to Alzheimer's disease-related dementias pathology, and resilience. We expect the NOFO to use an R61, R33 phased mechanism. The focus has been informed by the 2025 ADRD Summit recommendations, and responsive research topics will include investigating synergistic interactions of exposome factors and their composite effect on neural mechanisms relevant to ADRD, and pathways that link exposures to ADRD risk, progression, and/or resilience. We're also interested in studies that cover the lifespan and factors that may lead to neurological health disparities. So that was a high-level overview of just a few types of opportunities and mechanisms available for you to apply, as well as a peek at what is hopefully yet to come. So we've covered that we have a highlighted topic that outlines the ONETOX research interest in the neural exposome space, and that you must apply through a funding opportunity. Further, that funding opportunity must be one in which NINDS participates. To find those opportunities, you can visit the grants.nih.gov website using the link or QR code on the slide, filter on funding organization indicated by the top red arrow, choose NINDS. Leave the issuing organization only box unchecked. This way, you will see all available opportunities, including ones that NINDS has issued, as well as others that we have signed on as a participating organization. Once you've done your homework, read our highlighted topic, maybe listened to the workshop or perused our website and looked at the funding opportunities. Next, we have a few suggestions for submitting your application. So first and foremost, please contact us. We are here for you and we are happy to talk to you. We also have a network in place within NIH institutes. So sometimes if we are not the right fit, we can offer a warm handoff to another program officer in a partner IC. Secondly, use the Public Health Service or PHS assignment request form. This form is available in nearly all competing NIH application form packages and allows you to provide specific application assignment and review information to referral and review staff. Select NINDS in the awarding component assignment section. If you go a little further down on the form, there is also a rationale for assignment section. Here, you may specify that you talk to program officers in ONETOX and that you've developed an application that is responsive to our neural exposome research program. You may also include a cover letter that describes how your research aligns with the NINDS Neural Exposome Program mission. Now, please remember that IC assignment is not guaranteed, but if you follow the first bullet and contact us, we can also keep a lookout for your application. Just a reminder that the NIH early stage investigator policies are still in place, and ESI is a program director or principal investigator who is still within 10 years of completing their terminal research degree and who has not previously been awarded a substantial NIH independent research award, such as an R01. Meritorious ESI projects may be prioritized for funding. The status is determined at the time of submission. So please check your ERA Commons personal profile and make sure it is correct to give yourself every advantage. There are also circumstances in which you may extend your ESI status. So check out the links on this slide for more information on those policies and procedures. The NIH Center for Scientific Review has an early career review program where early career scientists may serve on review panels, earning critical experience, such as improving grant writing skills by learning how applications are evaluated. Please see the link or see us our web pages for more information on this valuable program. If you want a relatively quick class of what happens in review, please watch this mock study section As with many things, the more you understand the process, the better you can prepare. Two colleagues of mine at NINDS, Doctors Marguerite Matthews and Lauren Ulrich, developed an award-winning podcast called Building Up the Nerve. While this podcast was developed for neuroscience trainees and scientists, they discuss topics from the life cycle of a grant to demystifying scientific research at all career stages. It is a true resource and tackles many unasked and sometimes unanswered questions in the research field. It's currently in its 5th season, and while you should listen to the whole podcast, I want to direct you to Season 1, Episode 9, which focuses on resubmissions. If we go by the numbers, most people who apply to NIH will not get a grant on their first try. In fact, even the most successful investigators submit many grants before they receive an award. While most people know this, it still hurts to not have your grant funded. But we are here to tell you to not be discouraged. Resubmission success rates are higher than new application success rates. Program officers at NINDS are here to work with applicants to develop what is often an improved application for resubmission. So if your application is not chosen for funding, please reach out to your program officer and discuss if a resubmission is right for you. The program officers in ONETOX are myself and Dr. Neil Drew. We welcome you to visit our website. There's more information on our office and programs. You can also sign up for our listserv so you're always in the know. The best way to contact us is to use our group office mailbox indicated by the red arrow. We know we presented a lot of information, but the take-home messages are that NINDS is interested in neuroexposome research. We shared several resources with you that outline those interests and how to find funding opportunities. And lastly, we are interested in talking to you. We want to hear about the science and help you develop responsive applications to our programs. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you again for joining us today. And we will move to if there are any questions. Neil?
Hi, thank you. Thank you everyone for your attention. Thank you, Chardell. Yes, we have a few questions coming in, and maybe there's some of you in the audience that have been waiting to see if we would get to, kind of preemptively answer one of your questions. But we're done with the presentation now, so this is your time to start typing into the Q&A box. Meanwhile, there have been a couple of questions that have been submitted, so I'll start with them. The first is a question related to applying to the HT through one of the parents, or in response to the HT through one of the parents. Just to confirm, one would apply for an R21 or R01 parent award and highlight in the cover letter that this is for neural exposome?
Okay, thank you for the question. You could apply. You want to first locate a funding opportunity that NINDS participates on, and then you would apply through the parent mechanism. We are offering some suggestions. One is to use the PHS assignment request form and indicate there where you can choose your IC. We're asking that you choose NINDS. And then later where you justify why you chose NINDS on that form, let them know that you reached out and you talked to program officers at ONETOX. The cover letter was another suggestion on how to make sure referral officers and others that are looking at your application know that you do want to come to NINDS with your application. I hope that I hope that clears up the different pathways that we're offering, none of which are guaranteed, of course.
Yeah, I think it does, but it does lead to this next question. And that is, I see in the highlighted topics 25, that's the one on the neural exposome, that several institutes are listed, NIDA, Women's Health, but I do not see NIMH. Our group focuses on mental health and substance use and comorbid conditions like cardiovascular. My question is ONETOX interested in Exposome in mental health, or is it more focused on neurology, stroke, etc.? Thank you.
Yeah, I will say there are nuances to what each IC covers in their mission space, and there are many areas that there are overlapping space. It sounds like we may be in a space where NINDS shares with NIDA as well as NIMH. And so I will say the highlighted topics do not supersede referral guidelines or IC mission space. So while we're interested in neural exposome research, it all must fall into the NINDS mission. And again, there are nuances. So I would suggest that you reach out to us with an email. We'll be happy to set up a call and discuss the nuances of your application and find an IC where it best fits. Now, while not every IC has signed on to the highlighted topic, there are many ICs that still focus on neural exposome research. We have inter-IC working groups where we talk about this, and even though they're not signed on to the HT, does not mean that they're not interested in neural exposome research, and so we can often help you find a home if it is not an NINDS.
Yeah, and I think that last part is really important. First of all, just because an IC has not signed on, you can still submit your research that may be more, overlapping with one of their mission spaces. That's fine. They may still receive that application. That is, I think that is part of how this is supposed to work, that this highlighted topic generates more simmering of research activities overall. Thank you. I am going to ask the next question because it's okay. Well, here's one more question about the highlighted topic. In the HT for the neural exposome HT, the expiration date for the topic of interest is December 2nd, 2026. I'm assuming this will be refreshed at that time, and ONETOX Exposome will continue to have a NOFO after this date?
Okay. So again, I just want to clarify that the highlighted topics are specialized areas of research interest for institutes. So the highlighted topic is not a notice of funding opportunity or a NOFO. You would still apply through a NOFO, which means that submitting your application is not tied to the expiration date of highlighted topic.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm looking for the next question. Okay. Here we go. Is there an ideal number of different exposures we should propose to study in an application? And are there specific exposure types that are of high priority?
Thank you for the question. I would direct you to read our strategic plan, which is on our website, and it outlines some of the high priority or priority research areas for neural exposome research for NINDS that was directed by our working group of counsel. These will be investigator-initiated research projects, which means that each project or disease area will have to stand on the current science. If there's evidence for multiple disease mechanisms, then you want to come in with that. If there is evidence of, if there's one that's shining or one that there's a lot of evidence for above others, then you want to include that. We're trying to be as open to applications and keep this investigator initiated. And so it really just depends on which disease area and how mature the science is in that disease area for neural exposome research. But we're happy to meet and call and have a discussion about it.
Okay. Okay, so I believe this question is related to the HT. To confirm, this is open for July and October cycles of applications.
Yeah, so again, you would come into the R01. Once the HT is expired, still come into the R01. Our plan is to still be here and to still work to support neural exposome research. So don't get completely hung up on the expiration date of the HT. Okay, just contact us and we still want your applications to come in.
Yeah, and whether you're applying through the R01 or the R21 or any of the parent mechanisms, one of the fellowship, pre-doctoral or postdoctoral fellowship applications, you look at the submission dates of that NOFO that you're applying to. Okay, and that I lead us to the next question, a slightly different topic. Speaking of pre-doctoral and postdoctoral fellowships, is there going to be an increased push for mentorship post-graduate school to get new PhDs more involved with this research, even outside of a postdoc?
Okay, I think that's a good question. I will say supporting training and developing the research workforce was a priority in our strategic plan. So it is on our radar. It is something that we are very committed to doing, but that's not new for NINDS. NINDS has a robust training and workforce development program. We shared a slide where there are many, many opportunities that extend beyond even graduate school that support. And we also have gated mechanisms for early career scientists. And so again, you can reach out to us or to the training office, and then we can talk more about where you are in your particular stage and then get you to which opportunity might be right for you.
Okay, that's great. One question that's coming up is, I think Claudia will be able to answer this one in the chat, is where are the parent grants listed? But that also leads us to, well, so the question is, where are the parent grants listed? I think that we can put the link into the answer and everyone will have access to that. It's also going to be on these slides that we will share, and that leads to what is currently the last question. So if you've been waiting for anyone to ask your question for you, it's not going to happen. You have to ask your question. So I'll read this and we'll answer it a little slowly to give you a last chance. Otherwise, we're at the end of this webinar. And that is that, what materials can I share with my contacts? And we would want you to share all of these materials. So we're recording the webinar and we have the slide deck, and we have to do some internal things to make them ready for public distribution, but very soon we will email everyone that's been registered for this webinar, and we'll let you know the links to where you can access the the recording. We'll let you know where you can get the slides. But basically, it's our website, and that's where you can find your links to other recordings. You can find links to the manuscript that we've published. You can find links to the workshop that we recently had, and you can find our contact information. So you can reach out to us and ask us again. And may I say, one important link that you'll be able to get at our website is you'll be able to add yourself to our listserv, which is pretty robust. And so when there are updates to things like new webinars and new funding opportunities when they are available, all of those kinds of things, we let our listserv know. So we encourage you to sign up to that. Okay, in the meantime, one question has come in, so we're extended for just a little bit. Are nanomaterials exposures covered?
Yeah, as long as the disease you're studying is within NINDS mission space, exposures, all exposures are covered. Most exposures, you never want to say all. Most exposures are covered as long as the disease you're studying is within our mission space.
Okay, I think we've covered it. 40 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the robust discussion. We hope to hear from you in the very near future and help you all develop applications to NINDS. Enjoy the rest of your day.